Welcome everyone to the UC Admission Secrets. I am Coach Art, and I am here today to talk about activities. I want to thank you for joining us. We have an exciting time tonight, and thank you so much. I know that there are so many things that you can do with your night, and you chose to spend it with me and talk about all things that we always love, which is college admissions. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we will get started with this session. Let me know if you guys can give me a thumbs up, and let me know if you guys are able to see my screen. If you can give me a thumbs up with reactions, that would be outstanding. All right. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate that. That's great. Okay. Now, if you have any questions, please put them in the Q&A. I will try to answer them as best I can once we've finished the presentation. But tonight we have an exciting one. Going to be talking about activities. Going to be talking about the what's of activities. What should your description include? And last time I did this, I did a sample activity writing exercise. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be inviting one of our students, anonymous student here, and we're going to go through his particular activities. And we're going to start, I'm going to bring up a session here, and we're going to write up some of the activities. And I'm going to show you how we go about the interchange of looking at his activities and then also writing up what could be potentially his activities. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. First of all, if this is the first time that you have been to our meeting, welcome to UC Admission Secrets. Let me introduce myself. I'm Coach Art. I am one of the coaches at College Admission Secrets, but I also have a past here, of course. I am a parent liaison and a student whisperer, they call me sometimes, just because I love to listen to students and listen to and how I can help them. But I have been in technology for over 30 years. I've been coaching as a sports and life coach for over 20 years. I started in this game of college admissions. Actually, it's going to be 8 years now. But my proudest moments are my boys, my three boys. My oldest, he actually went to UC Berkeley, attended UC Berkeley, just recently graduated from UC Berkeley, and now he is with a mechanical engineering degree. My middle son, he is actually pursuing a degree, pre-med bio at University of Illinois, and my youngest is pursuing a physical therapy degree, but will also be playing Division II soccer at Biola University. So very proud of them. But the reason why that I say that is because I've been through it, mom and dad, out there 3 times, as well as placed hundreds of students in their dream jobs. I'm sorry, their dream schools, and helped a number of them get into some very prestigious schools. Now, normally, again, my partner in crime joins me, but he is actually on a meeting, and so he's not going to be here today. But I do want to introduce Coach Tony, who is he's the founder of College Admission Secrets, and his past is really, he graduated from UC Berkeley, became a reader of UC Berkeley, which is the reason why we have really learned the expertise about getting into the UCs. He was a UCLA outreach director, even opened up and founded his own high school, and was one of the first TikTok college admissions educational partners, and been helping students for over 15 years. So with that said, our goal really at UC Admission Secrets is to reveal all the secrets for all different areas, not just the UCs, but also for the Ivy Leagues, financial aid, SAT, prep, as well as any math secrets as well. Our success stories, of course, reach out to all of the UCs, and you can see their amazing logos here. But we also do more. We have individuals and students that have been placed in many different schools: Loyola Marymount, Caltech, Rice. We also have, of course, University of Virginia, the UCs. And so with that, we are not just the UCs, but we are also getting students accepted by all of the schools around the country. Our vision is really to teach you what's working for our coaching students, provide, of course, resources and freebies and goodies, and also to make sure that your child is successful, and inviting to work with Coach Tony and myself and our entire team as part of UC Admission Success. So, are you guys ready to take some notes? And drop your questions in the chat as I mentioned. If you're ready, please give me a heart. I always, as you know, I like reactions, so please give me a heart. We are over 200 people in our meeting tonight. That is absolutely amazing. And again, oh my gosh, I see a flooded sea of hearts, which I don't think I've ever seen that many hearts before. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So, as part of the College Admissions Journey book, we talk about all of these. Of course, our main areas is your college and major that you're pursuing, academics, activities, and application. But do activities have a major impact on your college application? Of course they do. Yes, absolutely. And that's why we're talking about them. Your activities are a pivotal chapter in your application story. Okay. So, what are activities? Of course, any involvement outside of your academic coursework that has been a significant part of your high school experience. Okay. So why are activities important? The reason why is because they illustrate so many things: personal growth, leadership, teamwork, creativity, effective time management, as well as great essay content. Okay. And the different types of activities that are out there are extracurricular activities, community service, work experience, leadership experience, creative endeavors, research projects, special talents or skills, and significant experiences or achievements. And so when we talk about what are the two main factors of activities, really it's commitment and leadership. Commitment, of course, is the number of hours that you put forth, and then, of course, the leadership. So we're going to talk about commitment, and specifically, we're going to talk about the applications. Now, there are two main types of applications that are out there. There's the UC application, and there's also the common application. With the UC application, you basically get 20 slots, okay? 20 slots to talk about as many activities as you can within 20 slots. There is also an additional comment section that you can add additional information. Okay, normally that's not meant for any academics, but you can do anything in there actually, and talk about any additional information that will help you with explaining all of the details in your application. Now, the common application only has 10 slots. Okay, and they also have an additional comment section and an academic comment section. With the common application section, it is important that you prioritize the 10 slots. With the UC application, it's not important to prioritize the 20 slots. Okay, so in the common application, you want to go ahead and prioritize that from the most important, or the most involved, the greatest activities that you think, all the way down, right? Okay. So let's talk about the UC application really quick. The UC application, there's 20 slots, and they have 6 categories: extracurricular activities, educational prep programs, volunteer and community service, work experience, awards and honors, and then, of course, other coursework. So you can see there's a wide range of things that you can add as part of the activity. As long as they're non-academic, you definitely can list them on here. Now, just a little bit of logistics wise here, and you can see here is that each one of the sections that you are filling out in the activity section have particular limits. So first of all, the name of the activity, you are limited to 60 characters. What you did is limited to 350 characters. And I want to stress this is characters, because a lot of people get confused because the essays or the prompts, the PIQs that you use in the UCs, they allow you to have 350 words. This is only characters, so it's very short. Then they ask you, what did you participate in the activity from 9th to 12th, and even after 12 if you're a transfer student. And then how much time did you spend, hours per week and weeks per year? Okay. Now, if we go through these really quickly in the particular sections, the UC application for awards and honors, they ask for the name of the award or honor, the level of recognition, the type of honor, when did you participate, and then what are the eligibility requirements, which is 250 characters, and then the award or honor, which is 350 characters. For the educational prep program, they ask for the name of the program, describing the program, the participation of when you did it, and then, of course, the hours. For other coursework, they ask for the name of the course, describing the course. Again, you can see the appropriate characters, 60 characters and 350, when you did it, and then how much time did you spend. For volunteer and community service, again, they ask about the name of the organization, describing the organization, what you did, when you did it, and then how much time did you spend. For work experience, they ask you about the name of the place you worked, describe the organization, what was the title of your job, what was your job responsibilities, when did you participate, and when did you start and end your job, okay? Now, for the common application, there are 10 slots, okay? And as I mentioned, there are different activity types that you can choose from. So you can see here all different types, from academics, computer technology, ROTC, religious, science, student government, and other activities. So there's a lot of different slots for the common application activities types. For the common app, the actual form itself, when they ask about the activities, first they ask for the position. It's 50 characters, the organization name, which is 100 characters, describe it within 150 characters, the participation of when, 9 through 12, timing is during the school year, during the break, or all year, how many hours per week and weeks per year, and then are you intending to participate in similar activities in college? So with that said, I'm going to skip this part here. As you all know, we do college application intensives. If you're interested in being involved in a college application intensive, in which it's a 2-day session where we go over the entirety of the application, including the activities, and we help you finish your application within 2 days, which is Saturday and Sunday. If you are interested in that type of weekend, you can go and text us at 415-938-8721. Again, text us at 415-938-8721. Text us the word weekend. And we have a bunch of available weekends right now. Some of them are sold out, so you need to check on that. But again, text us weekend at 415-938-8721. So now I'm back. So the activities section is really important because you have to consider them as mini prompts, like mini essays. Unfortunately, a lot of times the students will just list it out and not really do anything with them. Very dry, and they don't consider that that's another way for you to go ahead and advertise yourself and to show them all the things that you're doing. But the key thing here is the difference between that and the essays is you're telling the what's, meaning you're telling what you did, okay? So if we think about leadership, first of all, here's what you want to consider when you're writing your activities, and this is really, really important. First of all, you want to quantify everything. So instead of just saying, I made lunches for the homeless, What you want to do is, you can say is, constructed 1,000 separate lunch boxes and distributed out to 500 needy individuals in the community. You see how that's different, because you're showing a quantity and you're showing the size of what you've done, right? Another thing is, don't write in formal sentences, but rather you want to write in bulleted statements. Now, when you're writing your your activity section, you want to be consistent all the way through. So if you use the round bullets or any type of bullets, then use that consistently. If you're going to do short statements, absolutely what you want to do, then you want to go ahead and do that consistently. Grammar is not a high consideration as long as they can read it. It's really, really important. Now, of course, if you have the time, which you should always, because if just like us, if you reach our early deadlines, you should be able to read through everything and correct them. But grammar is not a high consideration, meaning is that you don't have to have these very formal sentences. They can be very simple sentences as long as they convey what you're trying to communicate. No one activity is better than another. Okay, it's very important. It is more important about what you did in the activity. And we always say, if it's 1% better than before you started with that particular activity, then you've done their job. Show progression or results. You always want to show results, what you did and what resulted from that, not just here's what I did. You want to maximize all the characters that are in there. So if it says 350 characters, try to use the entirety of all 350 characters. And as I mentioned, in the UC application, order does not matter. In the common application, sorting does matter. And so you want to sort by the most impactful. Now, some other things. Proof is not required when applying. So I want to make sure that everybody is understanding this. They don't have time, okay? They don't have time to verify what you put on. Now, but mind you, all students must sign a statement of application integrity when they submit their application. So, for example, the UC stated that they do select a select number of students to randomly verify and check the proof of any aspects of their application, including activities. But frankly, I have never met a student that has happened to. They have just too many applicants to submit that's the reason why they have the, again, integrity statement. And frankly, you should not be putting something on your application, specific activities that you haven't done, and you should not embellish or try to lie about the things that you're doing, okay? Another thing, don't duplicate activities and group tasks within the same. So don't duplicate activities. Don't say, oh, I did skating. You want to be able to group those activities into the same one activity so that you can conserve, because you only get 20 slots and then 10. Now, really the case here with activities as well is you're trying to build a compelling story of who you are with your activities. So if you think about it, when you look at your application, you're telling them your academic story, right? You're telling them how you did, what you did. In the activities section, you're building them saying what you did, okay? What you did. What was it that you did with respect to all the things that are non-academic, okay? And you're building this story. So each of the stories will, on the why I say it's like mini prompts, is because each of the stories are going to convey as well some of the qualities that you have, because you want to show leadership. And with leadership comes a lot of amazing qualities like patience, perseverance, curiosity, tenacity, okay? And so all of those statements that you make with respect to activities, and you're showing a record of each of one of those, it starts building out a story with your activities, okay? So with that said, I'm going to give one example, and then I'm going to move over to our guest student for tonight. So the first example here was, first of all, 2-year president, Langston Nonprofit TED Ed Club. Description: reinvigorated a club after 2-year hiatus as part of TED Ed's free student curriculum. Served as primary motivational speaker and club leader, mentored and developed 15 plus inexperienced speakers to conduct TED Talks, develop educational videos, and organize 2 instructional meetings every month on improving speaking skills. Now, I'm going to put a question. I'm going to put a question. I'd love to hear your chat comments in the chat if you can show me. What do you think? Okay, what do you think are the important aspects on here? So if you can put in the chat, please put in the chat. What do you think are the important aspects of this particular sample? Oh my gosh, we are over 280 people on the call, which is amazing. Okay, so I'm asking the question. All right, first one, monthly contribution. I love it. Okay, what else? What else? What's some other primary parts of this sample here? Don't be shy, guys. Put it in the chat. Let's take a look and see what you guys think here. 15 plus inexperienced speakers. Love it. Reinvigoration after hiatus. Leadership, developing 15. Correct. Speakers. 2-year president. Good call. Good call. Mentored. I love it. So everyone absolutely is calling out, and great job, everyone. You guys could do this, okay? First of all, 2-year president. Why? Because you're showing longevity. You're showing that you stuck with it and that you went ahead and stayed with the organization. Okay. Another thing, you reinvigorated the club after a 2-year hiatus. Now, if you don't know, this actual individual, this is not just sample, this is a real one. They were actually going through COVID. Okay. So their freshman and sophomore year, they're going through COVID. So they reinvigorated this because this was a previous club. All right. Another thing, primary motivational speaker and club leader, being very obvious to say, hey, they were the primary motivational speaker in the club. They mentored 15 plus inexperienced speakers. Okay. And they developed, which I love. And the reason why they're using this, and this key thing is, they're using a lot of action words: reinvigorated, developed, organized, mentored. Okay. And it's not just, a lot of times students will go ahead and they'll join a club, and all they do is they just meet. They meet every other week or meet every week, and they just talk about stuff. Well, look what they did here. He developed and organized 2 instructional meetings every month on improving speaking skills. So not only did they just talk, but developed a curriculum, okay, and educational videos. So really outstanding sample and example, okay, an example of what it's like, and you can see the longevity. You can see as well as the action there. Okay, everybody like that? If you do like that, give me a thumbs up, please. Give me a thumbs up. I'd like to see those thumbs up. Excellent, excellent, love it. Okay, now, because I promised this last time, I am going to go ahead and I am going to bring up a blank sheet of paper here. And I'm going to go ahead and invite, okay, I'm going to invite a student in our program. Now, we're going to make sure, going to keep them anonymous just to make sure that we protect his name or so. But I'm going to invite him, and I'm going to actually go through an actual way that our coaches, myself, would go through and actually help write, okay, the actual activities. Okay, so if you guys want to see that, can you give me, no, I'm going to say this, give me a heart again if you guys want to, let's see that. Okay, great, awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to invite. Now, for purposes, I'm going to this student, I'm going to have this student, and his name is going to be John. Okay, John, are you there?
I'm here, Coach.
All right. Yes. Maybe I'll call you Johnny, okay? Because I've always liked Johnny. I know one of the Johnnies because of one of my favorite movies is Karate Kid, and Johnny was the guy that that he fought against, I guess. So, all right, Johnny. So, I thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate it. We're gonna go through and we're gonna do a writing session just like we do in our program. Okay, and so everybody sit back, relax, and we're gonna go through. So, as for Johnny, I know that you have been involved in so many things, and so a couple of things that I'm just going to go through really high level, and we're going to kind of write about this. And maybe what I'm going to do in this session is because I have some of your activities here, I'm going to pick out some things of the activities. I'm going to pop it in into this blank sheet, and let me make sure that I'm sharing my sheet. Okay. Can everybody see my sheet? If you can, give me a thumbs up, please. Give me a thumbs up. All right, good. All right. So first of all, Johnny is going to be a senior, and we're going to be going through his application. The first thing that I saw, which really popped out at me, is that you are in an internship, actually at an organization. Let's again at a museum internship, which is great. I love it. Okay, so I'm going to just type up here a museum internship. Okay. Can you give me just a little bit of what are you doing there? And again, the first part of this that we do is we're just brainstorming. Okay. So we're just brainstorming, just putting things down on paper. So can you describe to me, Johnny, the things that you do at this internship?
Yeah, so I'm working with a group of engineers, aircraft technicians, and pilots,
Okay.
and it's the local Air and Space Museum, and we're
Okay.
restoring and building historic aircraft from scratch.
Oh, wow. So
Yeah,
restoring local air. Okay. So restoring old aircraft. Is that correct?
yeah,
Okay,
old
great.
historic aircraft.
Old historic aircrafts. Okay, awesome. Great. Okay. So first of all, I'm going to ask here, by restoring, how did you get involved in this? Like, why did you get involved in this?
Well, I've always had a passion for aviation since I was young,
Okay.
and I always felt like aviation was somewhat on the forefront of innovation.
Okay.
So I always loved it since I was young, and
Awesome.
because of that, I just networked through some connections that I had, and I met
Okay.
some people that were willing to offer me an internship at the museum.
Awesome. Now, how long have you been doing this?
So it's just been for this summer. So I started
Okay.
right as the school year finished.
So let's say it's summer 2024, and how many hours per week do you work as an intern?
Around 14 hours per week.
14 hours per week. Love it. Okay, so 14 hours per week. And so let me ask you this. First of all, how many, when you say a group of pilots, how many pilots, retired engineers, and technicians? How many, different types of people do you interface with?
I interface with 25 plus, but
25. Okay.
I'm working with a specific team on this
Okay.
one aircraft of
Okay.
five, six people. So
Excellent. Okay. Now, let me ask you this as well. Um, with respect to, do you do anything else at the museum? Do you do any presentations? What are the primary kind of, if we break it down a little bit, because I know you're doing restoring, but can you give me a little bit more details on what you do with respect to restoring and other things? Is there presentations you give? Is there maybe you give, you guide people or students in through the process, or so? What do you do there?
so not necessarily presenting anything,
Okay.
but it is in an open area in the museum where
Hmm.
people can walk by, and docents
Okay.
bring groups of individuals by, and they'll ask questions, and I'm able to
Okay.
answer and communicate those answers with them.
Awesome.
Um,
Okay.
but
Okay.
mainly it's just me working with my team, and this aircraft that we're working on is from the 1940s. So
Okay.
looking at the original 1940s blueprints for the
Okay.
aircraft,
Okay. Okay.
fabricating, designing, or redesigning the parts, and building them from scratch, and then installing them on the plane.
Wow. Okay. Okay. So redesigning parts, fabricating parts, right? Okay. and building them from scratch. Now, let me ask you this: what kind of impact do you think you have? Will this have on, again, in restoring these planes?
Well, I think it's going to have a big impact for a long time because these planes are going to be flown by pilots for shows, air shows,
Oh,
and
okay,
other
okay,
events. And then when they're done being flown, they're going to be hung up in a museum, either in my city or somewhere else. So it'll
okay.
be around for a while.
And so basically, it provides a history, right? A history, or I would say is a historical perspective for others to have them, have them appreciate the past, right?
Yeah.
Is that what we're saying? Okay.
Mhm.
And have attendees, okay, appreciate the past. Okay. How many aircrafts are you restoring?
So I'm only working on one, but right now we're actively restoring 3 aircraft in the
Three
museum. And
aircrafts. Okay.
occasionally I do help on the other aircraft.
Right.
Mainly I'm working on my
Right.
personal one.
Okay. So involved in the restoration of, I know that you're only primarily working on, but you do help on the others, right?
Mhm.
So you
Yeah.
are helping in the others. So let's just say three. Now, okay, great. So if everyone sees this, so what we're trying is he's a museum intern. He's working with a group of 25 plus pilots, retired engineers, and technicians involved in restoring, working for the summer as a summer intern, 14 years. 14 years, 14 hours per week, which is considerable amount of hours. Answers questions and communicates with museum attendees, redesigning parts, building from scratch, fabrication parts, and planes flown by their result is that you can they can use these planes again in shows, as well as for attendees to appreciate the past. Now, if I take a look at this, the count of characters is 326. Okay, and we said it was 350. So the first thing that we always want to do is, if we're taking, let's say, the UCs, is the first thing is the title. So when you're doing a title and then you have the description, right? Okay, so if I take a look at my presentation here, okay, if we take a look at the presentation and we look at the sections, all right, I'm going to go back to UCs. So first of all, this could be considered work experience. Are you getting actually paid for this, Johnny?
I'm not. It's an
Okay,
unpaid
so
internship.
it's okay, got it. So all right, so non-paid, right? Okay, so
Mhm.
let's take a look at this. Okay, so extracurricular activities, okay? You could name this as an extracurricular activities. The name of the activities is 60 characters. What did you do is 350, and then when did you participate in it, okay, and how many hours? So 60 and 350. The first thing here is 60. What people have to understand is you want to put in a title, okay? You want to put in title, but because you're limited in the description of 350 characters, you want to try to go ahead and make sure that you insert as much and use as much as the title. So as we know, again, let's say it's a space, or I think it's air museum. So let's just call it the air museum, because I know you're working on planes, or a plane museum. Okay, so plane or aircraft museum, right? But aircraft museum. Now, what is the so aircraft museum intern, right? Is that the title basically, or is there more to this?
Yeah,
I guess.
you could say Air and Space Museum restoration internship. That's sort of
Okay, restoration. Okay, so I want to just call it, from because your title is the aircraft museum restoration intern. Now let's take a look and see how many characters that is. Okay, what you can do here, okay, is another thing. So you have 34. So basically we have another 30, a little bit less than 30 to go. A lot of times what you can do here is, not only are you going to put the title of the individual of the intern, but what you can do here is that and then a lot of times, you see how I have a dash here. Sometimes you can use a dash or not, but I would say is to describe the actual organization here. Okay, so I know it says it's pretty obvious: aircraft museum or space and aircraft, or air and space. Okay, we could do air and space. Okay, and I can do that. Air and space. Okay, or if you want to, you can make it like this and put, okay, air and space museum restoration intern, and then you can describe a little bit more about what they do. And you can do mainly, again, what we're talking about here is, uh, again, I'm going to put this on here, but we'll see. Restoring aircrafts. Okay, let's just put that there. Or if you want to, the actual organization, the museum itself, you can say, you can talk about the museum. Let's say it's a 60-year-old, museum, something like that. What you want to do is you can describe either the organization itself or a little bit more of the actual position. And the reason why I say this is because you want to use up all of the characters. Okay, so right there I'm at 56. Okay, at 56. Now, the one thing that I put this on purpose is that you see here I use museum twice. Okay, so I made that purposely because, again, you don't want to duplicate. So so you can say here 60-year-old organization, let's say. Okay, or you can even talk about the program. And I don't know if you know this, Johnny. What is the do you know how old the organization that you're working with here, do you know how old it is,
Um,
possibly?
I'm not quite sure. I know it's been around for a while.
Okay. So if
Uh,
not, these are some things that you can look into, right? So you can say, 60-year-old nonprofit. Even that's even better. Okay. So 60-year-old nonprofit, right? Uh, nonprofit org. You could do that as well. Okay. So now that we have this, you know now that you are a restoration intern for a nonprofit organization that's 60 years. What does that say? Well, again, first of all, you're an intern, you're doing something amazing with restoration, and you're doing it for an organization that has been around for a long time. So they have longevity. Now let's take a look at the description here. So um, working with, okay, a team. So I like this. Working with team, okay, working with team. Now we can say working with, or you can say something else. All right. So I'm wondering is, Johnny, what are you doing in a sense of leading? Okay. Is there stuff where is there anything where you're managing, where you're orchestrating, where you're organizing? Is there anything like that we could use?
yeah. In the process of building parts for the aircraft,
Yeah.
I'll kind of be assigned a certain section or a part,
Okay.
and I'll go to the original blueprints. And we have a
Okay.
team of woodworkers, welders, and
Uh-huh.
fabrication people in the back
Okay.
that I bring my idea to them, and
Okay.
sort of in a way lead them in the creation of the
Awesome.
part.
So you can say is, I like this, is collaborate, right? Because I assume you collaborate with them, correct?
Mhm.
So collaborate and lead, okay, and lead team of, and are those the team that you're working with? Is that the pilots, retired engineers, and technicians that you're saying that your course that you're working with? Is that or is it just designers? You said, okay, actually, let's try to do that. Collaborate and lead team of, and can tell me again? Is it designers? What was that again?
Yeah,
Designers.
it's welders and
Okay.
people who specialize in fabrication of parts. So
Okay, so let's
workers,
call about fabrication workers, right?
yeah.
So fabrication, and if you fabrication or fabricators, okay, you can do even fabricators, right? So collaborate and lead team of fabricators to again, it's to not it's either to how do I say this? Is to um create, or is to no, not develop, is to create original or replicas. Is that correct? Replica. Create
Yeah.
replicas of original parts, right?
Hmm.
Okay, something like that, right? So now you're saying is you're collaborating. Okay, and how many could be in a team of people that you're working with at a time?
It could be from around 1 to 5.
Okay, so 5+ fabricators to recreate replicas of original parts. Okay, that's one, right? Okay, that's one. And let's see how many words we got here. So we have, okay, 82 characters. All right. Now the next thing here is one we want to make sure is I like this is your now this original parts. Are you the actual redesigning parts, building from scratch and fabricating parts? Are you doing that as well?
I am, yeah.
Wow. Okay. All right. So you can mention that is redesigning redesigning and fabricating. Okay. And how are you doing that? Is that 3D printing?
We do have 3D printing. We do have a 3D printer, but usually at the stage we're at with the plane right now,
Mhm.
it's more with wood and metal. So
Okay.
nothing involving the 3D printer yet.
Okay. So utilizing various materials, right?
Hmm.
Various materials. Okay, great. So redesigning and fabricating. And how many parts? How many parts they're normally you working with?
I've so far I've worked with at least 30 to 40 parts. So
Wow. Okay. Third.
uh,
So I will just say is again 30+ parts utilizing various materials. Okay. Now, another thing here is one. So let's see how much we have here so far. Okay. So we have 148 characters. Love it. Okay. So now the next thing here is that involve answering questions. So wondering is that we can now, since we know how many what we've done here, what is the impact? We want to say we talk about the impact here. Um, so what we can say here is let's see, or how do you call it? Is it finished planes, completed planes? What is that? What would you use that?
um
Is it how do you describe that?
hmm,
Is it so I would say is or how long actually how long does it take to complete?
it takes months. Uh
Months. Okay.
yeah,
Okay. Okay. So months, let's say uh
probably
probably
six,
what, 6+
7.
months?
Yeah.
6+ months. Okay. All right. Let's see here is and when you're collaborating in a leading team of five plus fabricators to recreate, redesigning, and fabricating 30+ parts utilizing various materials. And then the let's see here. Um over 6+ months. Okay, over 6+ months. And I like this here. Let's add that. Okay. So over 6+ months. Okay. Collaborating and leading team of 5+ fabricators to recreate replicas of original parts. Okay. But you're doing constructing as well, correct?
Yeah.
So you're constructing the planes, right? Okay.
Mhm.
Is this Is it managing, assisting? What is the right term there? Working
Um,
with, what is the right term there?
I would say it would be more of not necessarily assisting, but working with my group, even though it's my part,
Sure,
I'll
sure,
still need
sure, sure.
help putting
Okay,
parts
that's
in.
fine. So that's fine. So working with team, right? Working
Mhm.
with team to construct final, right? Final um
Final
uh
assembly.
final assembly. Oh, I love it. There you go. That's beautiful. Okay. To construct final assembly. And I assume you're doing QA and all these other things too, right? I mean, you're checking it to make sure, right?
Yeah.
Right. And ensuring quality control. Is that right?
Mhm.
Okay, awesome, love it. Okay, and then redesigning and okay, so now the last thing is what I love is parts here is talking about what does this do. Really what it does is that planes or uh, finished planes, okay, are made airworthy and utilized, utilized for display. Okay, all right, for display, love it. Okay, so what have we done here? Okay, so let's see how much we have here, and I want to make sure because I know we're getting up on time here. All right, so we have 302. We have 50. We have 50 more characters, which means an additional one. That's probably another sentence that we could use here. Okay, and then also, and I know you said you answer questions along the way to participants of or what do we call it, attendees of the museum, right?
Yeah.
So you can answer questions. Um, so provide answers to questions. Provide answers to museum. What do we call those? Museum
Visit-
patrons,
Visitors or yeah.
visitors. Okay, visitors on historical aspects of the aircrafts. Okay, so now we've now kind of talked about here. Okay, 375. We're a little bit over. It's okay. We can cut. We can cut. All right. But what I want to show everybody on the line that we just did for this particular for Johnny's description is the key thing here is, first of all, we talked about longevity. How long is it? How long has he been doing this? Keywords is collaborating. Okay, collaborating, leading. All right. We also had how many fabricators, because you think about this at a high school level, okay, this is a high school individual, and he's leading a team or collaborating a team with 5+ fabricators. That's incredible, okay, because that takes a lot of leadership qualities to do that. Another thing, it takes creativity to redesign and fabricate all these different parts. Okay, so that takes not only that, but it takes knowledge. Okay, it takes perseverance. It takes patience to do that. Working with the team, so now they're part of final construction and assembly and ensuring quality control, because these planes, why we're saying this, because they need to be airworthy. If they're not airworthy, these planes are going to crash, right? So this is why we talk about finished planes are made airworthy and utilized for display as well. Okay, and that's incredible to show. And then as well as you're providing answers to museum visitors. So out of all of these, you can see here is that in just this one description, and frankly, Johnny has so many more other great accomplishments. In this one, if you think about this, if we string a series of these along, let's say, think about this, because in the UC app there's 20, okay, in the Common App there's 10, but if we string along and it's consistently talking about the involvement, the leadership, action words with quantification, the importance of the results of doing this, you can see how effective this is just purely by this here. You can see how effective this is in a series of this, and then you add the outstanding academic work, and then on top of that, now you can take this. And so, for example, and that's why I asked, why you do this. So let me ask you, just Johnny, what do you think here with respect to your internship? What is it why are you doing this? Why are you doing this?
I think I'm doing it to learn more about my passion, and I'm learning a lot about something that I'll be involved in the future, hopefully in aerospace engineering. So
Aerospace engineering. Okay, great.
increasing my knowledge at the same time giving back to the community.
Awesome. So now what you can do here, you got to think about this, is that in the prompts now you can elaborate on why, okay, why you're doing this, right? Why you're doing this. What were the headaches and the actual, you know, issues that you experienced with possibly leading a team of maybe people that were older than you, and what were the struggles there, and how did you overcome those, right? And redesigning and fabricating part. Amazing, just absolutely amazing story. Any questions out there from the gallery here? Any questions? I'm gonna take a look and see if in the chat here. Wait, is 6+ months how long is he doing it, or 6 months to build a plane? Okay, there was a question. Is for 6 months, is it 6 months how long you were doing it, or 6 months to build a plane? I assume it's 6 months of doing it. Is that correct?
I was thinking around 6 months to complete one plane.
Complete one plane. Okay. And so these are the things where when we start revising this, right? When you say finished planes, we could say finished planes, you know, over 6 months, completed planes and made airworthy, something like that, right? Now, so that makes sense. So incredible work here. Incredible, absolutely incredible work. So impressed by just really, again, leading fabricators and actually recreating parts. It must one, you probably have a lot of satisfaction in doing this, I assume.
100%. Yeah.
100%. Okay, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time and sharing, you know, your story here. As you can see, just by this one entry shows so much promise, for particularly for someone who wants to go into aerospace, right? Okay, so thank you so much, appreciate it. I'm gonna put you on mute now, just so we can let's see here. Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing, you know, again, your story here. Greatly appreciate it. Let's see. All right. So with that said, was that helpful, everybody? Was that helpful in going through that exercise? Okay, great. Awesome. I see a lot of, and we still have, oh my gosh, and over 260 people are joining us. Now, the one thing that I will say, and I'm going to go through now and talk about, let's see here, and talk about and answer any questions. Are there any questions? Let's take a look and see if there are any questions. Okay, there, it looks like there's a number of questions. Okay. A couple of questions here before we have to duck out here. For other coursework, does this include community college classes, or do we not list those since we will submit those? No, you do not list community college classes in other coursework. That is listed in the courses and the academics piece, because you will actually call out separate schools, and then you will list those coursework according to those schools, okay? Is 9th grade too early to attend a weekend intensive? No, for our weekend intensives, unfortunately, they are only available for seniors, okay? So that would be for this group, 2025, those who are graduating 2025. How to list the time if some activities are only a few hours per month all year? That's okay. If you want to, you just list the hours. So what you're going to do is now, I want to make sure that everybody understands with hours. Some people only just they're thinking for the activity that you just do the hours, what they're doing. But no, hours are also travel time to get there, travel time to get back. Any times where you're doing something at home and maybe researching, everything that is involved towards the activity is counted towards the hours, because that's legitimate. So you got to make sure that you are logging these hours for every single thing, all of the hours that are associated to the activity. Now, another thing, is there such a thing as too many activity? Example, is it sometimes best to leave some out? Okay, good question. So first of all, you want to fill up. You want to fill up, but at the same time, with the activities, there isn't a case where there are too many activities because you want to fill it up. But at the same time, you want to have some relevance, you want to have some impact. Okay. Now, mind you, I had an individual that really loves hiking. Okay. And they did that a lot. So what they described in their hiking was what they did in their hiking, but that's a legitimate part-time activity. But they explained why, somewhat of why they were doing the activity, in a sense of that it allowed them to relieve their stress, but also is that that activity kept them in shape, as well as it helped them realize and see nature because they wanted to become an environmental scientist. And so what they did was is they used the nature out there to be able to figure out and identify certain things out in nature. So that's another thing. But there is never too many times or too many activities as long as they make sense. As long as you're just not trying to fill. You don't want to do that because you want to see it. As you can see with Johnny here when we were doing his stuff, is that what we did is we tried and made sure that that there is quantification, right? There's relevance, there's action, right? Okay, another thing, and we got 1 more minute here. My child has a mandatory internship that will be mentored in school profile since college. It is 100. Will the admissions officer readers view this internship as having less impact because it is mandatory for graduation? No, they will not see that as less impact because they're doing an activity. Let's see here. Is this type of help and analysis the coaches will give at the weekend intensive? Yes, it is the kind of help and analysis that our coaches will give at the intensive. Do we need to have PIQs activities talk about different? Do we need to have PIQs activities talk about different things? So what you don't want to do is in your PIQs is to just list out your activities. You can refer to the activities, but remember your PIQs be talking about the whys versus the whats. The whats are part of the actual activities themselves. The PIQs talks about the whys. Okay. Should bullet points be listed in a certain order like XYZ method? No, they don't need to be listed out in a certain order unless you want to put them in order. For example, as you can see here with Johnny's his example, what we did here is I tried to do it so that there was a logical order to it, but they don't need to have a certain order unless the activity requires that where there's a step-by-step process. Okay. Do you do this for all activities with your students? Yes, we review their activities section. We make sure that before we do what we call a send-off for applications, we review and we revise their activity descriptions. Let's see here. All right. So with that said, we are at 7 o'clock. We are at the end. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate what you do for us here, and you can be spending time anytime with us, and with that but you spend time with me, and I greatly appreciate that. So thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. I hope this was helpful for all of you guys. Thank you for our special guest as well, amazing young individual, young man. And we will see you next time. And it will be myself and Coach Tony as well. So have a wonderful evening, and we will talk to you soon. Thanks a lot. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.